All right, everybody, happy Monday. You are listening to Daddy Issues. I'm Dean McDermott. I'm a daddy of 6. With me is my bestie, Adam Hunter. He's a new daddy.
Yes.
And my other bestie, Nicky Paris, who still needs his daddy.
That's right.
How are you, fellas?
Great.
Doing good.
Nicky and I had the best night here at the Comedy Store last night. We totally fangirled out on Anthony Jeselnik and Brian Callen.
Mm-hmm.
And the Comedy Store treated us like rock stars.
We were like Rihanna.
Totally.
We were like running the Navy.
Well, first you guys
Totally.
hit the Dime Bar.
Well, of
the
course,
best show in town.
Best show in town. We hit
Yes.
the Dime Bar. It was a great show. Somebody overbooked the comedians.
Yeah, way
Holy
overbooked it.
shit! How many comedians did we have?
You know, normally I book like 15, hoping that 7 cancel, and
they
usually
all
do.
showed. Right.
Usually at least I get 5 or 6 to cancel the day of or day before, and nobody canceled. And I was like, oh no. And then people that I've known for like 20 years that have gotten me like billions of spots, like, can I run by and do a spot tonight? Or somebody that like,
Oh my God.
one of those where I'm like, yeah, but don't really have many I have too many comics, so maybe, you know, I'm trying to get them to not do it. It's gonna be dead, and they're like, don't worry, it's okay. I'm like, you know.
But we did have a professional clown
We did have a clown in the crowd,
in the audience,
which is good.
which is important.
Ruru?
Rue the clown.
Rue the clown.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's badass.
She's in a
Very
car
cool
right
clown.
now with 25 people.
yeah.
we had such a good night, and I didn't get home till 1 o'clock last night, so
And then I couldn't sleep.
It was like well past my bedtime because I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock.
So when you came home, the kids were asleep, obviously.
They were out.
And Tori was asleep.
Tori was asleep. Everybody was asleep,
Wow.
and then I couldn't sleep all night.
How was the Teen Choice Awards?
They were good. It's hard to do the Teen Choice Awards when you're watching 5 kids, right?
Wait,
Like,
all
so
the kids came?
We took all the kids to the Teen Choice
Oh.
Awards. So Tori and Jenny were presenting. So I was there with all 5 of them, and
And
Stella.
what are the ages from what to what are we at now?
2, 6, 7, 11, 12, and then my 21-year-old.
Got it.
So to have 5 kids at an award show, and I didn't want to take the 2-year-old to watch the live show, but all the other kids wanted to see the live show. So it worked out. Jenny's kids, her 21-year-old was there, so she took my kids who wanted to see the live show, and I just stayed backstage and.
And then you were trying to get your jokes in there, right?
I tried to get. They needed a punch up, so the joke was we saw John Stamos backstage, 90s reference, right?
Right.
We saw John Stamos backstage, and I got butterflies in my stomach. I said, "Well, how about this?" I said, "We saw John Stamos backstage, and I got a Fuller House in my panties."
And
they didn't.
I can't believe that the Teen Choice Awards said no to that. That's
believe they-
amazing. Like you texted me that, and I'm like, yeah, of course.
I know,
it's the
but
Teen Choice Awards.
I put it out there joking. No,
You're like, I saw John Stamos here, and R. Kelly's here too. peeing on everybody.
the other one was I saw John Stamos backstage.
No Jeffrey Epstein jokes?
No,
Didn't you
no.
think kids would like
Too
that?
soon. Too soon.
No pedophile island?
Too soon.
Hey, kids, want a free trip? No?
I admire you for trying, though.
I tried. The other one
Yeah.
was
A
I
for
saw
effort,
John
Dean.
Stamos backstage, and I got a craving for a hot Chobani.
How do you look?
On my back. He looked great.
Yeah.
He
Hot
looked great.
Chobani. I don't get that though.
Chobani, he endorses Chobani yogurt.
Oh.
So hot yogurt on your back, it's a pull-out.
Yeah,
joke.
I don't think that
Yeah.
was the Teen Choice.
Yeah.
I can't believe
I'm
it.
sure
Yeah.
the kids are going to
I
love
was just
that.
saying like yogurt, and I'm like, well, how do you make the yogurt hot? Like,
Have you ever heard the expression crashing the yogurt truck?
no.
You've never heard that expression, crashing the
No.
yogurt truck?
Like,
It means
no.
when
Tell
a man,
us more.
when a man ejaculates, he crashed the yogurt truck.
I thought this was a show about parenting.
Oh, it is. It is. It is.
Happening.
That we talk about JoJo Siwa and all that there's asbestos in her product, then Dean ejaculating. That's what the show is all
That's
about.
what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But I thought it was about 2 cute dads and one looking for a daddy.
Right.
No,
Right?
well,
Yeah,
We
no.
tricked you, Heather.
It is. but
Surprise.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
That's okay.
The
we can talk
lovely,
about
the
anything.
lovely lady that you hear her voice right now is our special guest, and I'm fangirling.
Me too.
Right now,
No, you're
my
not, but
panties are
whatever.
Yes,
wet.
I am.
I've been such a fan of you for such a long time, and I can't believe this is the first time we've met.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Heather McDonald.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think you're so funny, and again, yeah, I'm surprised we haven't crossed paths.
I know. I don't think I've ever met. I feel like I've maybe been at parties with you guys, but I don't think I've ever like talked to you or Tori, like in person.
We've definitely seen each other at events, and sometimes your best intentions. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
there's Heather. I would love to go and say hi, and then
Right.
He was ejaculating. And
Yeah.
it was hot,
I was
and
crashing the
just-
yogurt truck. It's like, oh, there's Heather.
It was too much, Heather, in the moment. Heather,
Yes.
I was one of the biggest fans of your book, You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again.
Thank you.
Because I am a huge blue baller.
That's great. I love it. That
I
you're
think-
playing hard to get.
I don't understand.
Like
any
just
of this. What's going
dry,
on?
You don't
just
know
dry,
what blue ball
just dry humping and going.
You've never
It's-
had blue balls?
I've had blue balls, but what you
So I wrote a book.
Yeah.
I wrote a book
A
because
New York Times bestseller.
because at the time, like, there were a lot of female comics and people that were writing books about being like, their slutty adventures, which I loved reading.
Yeah.
Do you remember the book, You'll Never Make Love in This Town Again? And it was like about like high class hookers that like,
Yes.
like girls that had to like shit on a glass table and like Robert Evans was under it, like crazy hooker stories. So I loved all that. And I'm like, God, I've got really juicy, funny dating stories. But I was like a virgin until I was 27 because I just dry humped a lot.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow, that's late to the
that's
game.
awful.
I was very late. And when I wasn't out as a virgin. Like once you get kind of old, it's like, I just wanted a boyfriend.
what's
so
wrong
I'm
with
doing
her?
stand up. I'm like out, doing
All through
my
college?
thing, all
Not-
college. And I'm doing groundlings and like nobody knew. And one time this girl goes, "Are you a?" And I was like, oh my God, no, you can't know that I'm this virgin. And then
Don't say
finally,
the V word.
Finally, I just was dating a guy that was nice, and I just did it. I didn't even tell him I was a virgin because anytime I told a guy I was a virgin, they're like, "Goodbye." They were just like, "No,
Yeah.
I don't want you."
What? I don't
Because it's
get
a lot
that.
of pressure to
Well,
be the first guy.
And I was like, I know I'm Catholic and I believe in God. I'm like, but that isn't why. Like, I just want it to be.
You're
not,
also like
I just
a
don't
sweet
want,
girl,
I just
too.
didn't want to like bone some guy from the SAE house and have him skateboard past like
I was an SAE.
Tommy Trojan. Were you really? SAs were good. Thank you. I thought I knew there was reason. But like I'd feel bad. Like, oh my God, I gave it up. I waited till I was 20, and this guy just is like nodding his head as he skateboards by Tommy Trojan. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And then the more time that passed, I was like, oh. So my advice to young girls is like,
and
don't-
gay boys.
just fucking and gay boys, just do it. Like, just be like. You don't have to do it at 14, but at a certain point,
But were
if
you like
someone's the least bit nice, just like
Just get it
frickin'
over with.
Take your pill, have them wear a condom, and just,
Get it
with.
over with.
But were
That's
you like
my
a
advice.
blowjob queen? I mean, were you like a?
No, I was like a dry hump queen. I'd give
Ugh.
blowjobs, but I really just love dry humping.
You
and
must
I
have
still
been
to
really
this
good
day
at dry humping
love,
to make it till 27.
Dry humping
well,
sucks.
what happens? What happened is I date these guys, and by like the third date, they're like, "Fuck that bitch." Like I've taken her out 3 times to dinner, but I was kind of like, "Well, you're not asking me to be my boyfriend, and I'm not going to have sex with you." But mostly, 99.9% of relationships, you have sex, and then you might become exclusive. Even if you wait like.
But I don't
3
think it's a bad thing though, because sometimes like you'll have sex with a girl and like it's terrible and you just don't connect. And
Right.
then if you're already the boyfriend girlfriend, then that's like a terrible deal breaker. Sometimes you kind of have to take a test drive around the house.
Well, of course, and I don't think people should like wait till they're married to have sex or anything like that. But anyway, then I look back and I go, well, I think it all worked out because I think had I like had boyfriends like some of my friends in their 20s, they would give up a lot of their career aspirations for the guy. And since I never had the guy, that was never an issue.
Right.
So, and I got all these great stories because I dated so much. A lot of people don't even go on dates. Like I had people picking me up, paying for me. Like I'd go to Starbucks and meet some guy and I'd be like, yeah, you can take me out to dinner. And because I was starving. And
That's
then I'd
great.
like never hear from them again. Or I wouldn't blow them off. But I would also go out to date for the material. So always I was like, if nothing else, I'll get like a joke or two out of this weird experience. And so that like helped build my
But dry humping
act.
sucks. You get like rug burn on your dick.
But
It's
you go
just-
home with
That's
no
fun.
regret. You go home.
go-
All I do is hump my Tori
The
and
guy
Dean
goes
pillow.
home. The guy goes home with regret. He's like, I shouldn't have
Guy's
done
like,
that.
what the
Yes.
hell was that?
Yes.
I mean, the guy. Plus, but that's good though. If I have a daughter, and I would love her to be a virgin until she's 27. I think that's great.
Whatever.
No, you're a respectful. It's very
Yes.
respectable.
Can I
it's
ask you a
just
sick
good-
question?
It's just good, like, it's just good to be a friend to yourself, whatever that might be. And if that means being a huge slut, go for it. Just be careful.
When you would dry hump, would they come in their pants? And then you're just like, oh, because I've done that. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was
well,
asking
looks
that,
like you're on your own.
It happened, yes.
I'm like, there's my Uber.
This was my best juicy story, okay? One of my best
Literally,
juicy
a
stories.
juicy.
Yeah, very juicy.
Did it make it in the book?
Yes,
Okay.
I made it in the book, and I've since looked up this person.
It was
okay?
a pop-up book.
So Dean, I know you're Canadian, so I don't know when you were like hanging out in the Hollywood scene. But do you remember the Trader Vic's at the Hollywood Hotel? What was it? The Hollywood Hilton?
the
what-
Hilton. Yeah,
The Hilton.
Yeah, Tori introduced me to Trader Vic's, so that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, Trader Vic's was
Awesome.
really happening. Okay,
The tiki, what were the
The-
scorpion
all the
bowls?
Scorpion Bowl was
Oh,
like
my
this
God.
big. It had like 18 things of alcohol in it, and it was just kind of happening. Okay, so my senior year at SC, I had this black romper that I got from Express, and it was like just every time I went out, like it was just the best time I've ever had. There's something about this little halter romper that just like it was like it's on. Okay, so I went to there, and this guy like across the room, and I'm tall, is looking at me. He's tall, and I could, and I always had like older guys hitting on me, but I didn't know how old this guy was. But I figured in my head, I just told myself he was 38, but I wasn't right. So I was like 21, and he gets my number and everything. He calls, and so I'm at the sorority house, and the phone rings, and it's like, please hold for Mr. I'll just call him Simon. That wasn't his last name. Please hold for Mr. Simon. And I'm like,
Ooh.
this is something like
Richie
50 Shades
Rich.
of Grey, Christian
Right.
Grey shit. Like, what is this? Like that movie, So I'm like, hello? And they're all, and he's like, oh, hey, I met you, da-da-da. I'd love to take you out. I'll pick you up. I'm like, I can't have this like adult man pick me up at the sorority house. I'm like, no. I'll meet you. I have, a pretty nice brand new Toyota Celica I'd like to show
Nice.
off. So I'm like, okay. So we go over to the, Pacific Palisades, this house, just like the nicest house I've ever been in my life. So he had like a couple that lived there, like a butler, like a husband and wife butler and he was like the first person that had like a pizza oven like outside.
Wow.
Like that was like some real shit.
Ooh.
And like each door
Baller.
weighed like 1,000 pounds. And then he like took me to this room and it was like for the woman. He'd never been married, never had kids. And I'm figuring now he's like closer to 40. Okay. And he's like, do you think you can fill this closet? I'm like, what is going on?
Wow.
And there's just part of me that's just like, yeah, maybe I'll just give up everything and just be like this rich girl that like shops and stuff. And it was so funny because recently we went past that, which is now the Waldorf Astoria, and I was with my son who is 16, but this was like a year ago. I was like 15. And I start to kind of tell him like a little bit of the story. Oh, I met this guy there. He was so well. And he's like, God, why didn't you marry him?
Oh,
Why do you? And I'm like, come on. I'm like, you wouldn't be who you'd be if you weren't, half your dad. But anyway, we go on some dates and like we're making out. And he had like these tan pants on. And I mean, the makeout had just started. We're not even full dry humping. This is like just a makeout. And he's like, will you hold me? I'm like, what?
What?
What's going on? And I was like, I literally like imagine a camera in my face, like, what? And he gets up, full wet spot in the pants, and he's like, okay, sweetie, you probably have to get going back to the sorority house. I'm like, what is? In all my life of boning all the 20-somethings, that never happened, or if it happened, I didn't see it or know it. So I was like, I think maybe this is why this guy has been single so long.
Yeah.
I think something's wrong with him. So anyway, we went out a few more times. No.
That wasn't a deal breaker?
Was that? No, that was the deal breaker.
Yeah.
A few more times. We went out a few times leading up to that. That was the deal breaker. But I'd see him out a couple times. Like one day he invited me to like a Christmas party. So I invited like, your friends. Like, oh, he wants some eye candy. Let's all go, and see if there's anyone better there. And we get some free food, whatever. And
That's cold.
but recently I was like bored and somehow I found his wife's Instagram. And God, what a fabulous life she's having with him.
Wow.
Oh my God, they're on yachts. She's like very fit. She's kind of cheesy. I know that he married like I don't want to say what you did, but you married like a non-college educated professional. Okay, whatever. And they have like 3 kids, and like one's like a fashion blogger. They're like that now. They're like in their teens and older, and but they're like on these yachts and everything.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck.
Oh, come on.
Maybe he turned out to be a great husband. And then my friend went out and she just saw him out. Now he's got to be like 70, okay? And he was not with his wife and like with another woman.
Ooh.
So that full circle happy ending for me.
I want to borrow your black romper if possible.
It was
I
a-
could
Nikki
rent
needs
it.
it.
God, I
Nikki
wish I
needs a
still
lucky
had it.
romper.
It was a happy ending for him, too.
Yeah.
by the
It
way.
was such a good romper.
Yes.
Yes.
So wait, so you have 2 kids. How many kids do you have? 2?
I have 3. My
Yeah,
eldest
now, this
is my
is the
stepdaughter.
daddy issue
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
show.
Yes.
We
So
get
my
into now.
oldest is my
Clean it up.
stepdaughter.
Stepdaughter.
Here's a juicy story for you. So my stepdaughter.
Went out with that guy.
No.
Oh.
So it's gonna be a lot
How
for you
old
to
is your
wrap your
stepdaughter?
mind on. She is still 19. She'll be
19.
20 at the end of October.
Maybe you
She's
saw her at the
entering-
Teen Choice Awards.
She's
Maybe.
she's starting her sophomore year of college, so she kind of started school early. But so basically, my husband impregnated her mom, possibly the weekend before meeting me.
Wow.
Ooh.
So
Did he
met-
do it through tan pants?
Wow.
So met me and was, like in his 30s, like, so this was a chick that he went out with, whatever. He kind of blew her off because he liked me. And then we really hit it off. And we were like full on boyfriend and girlfriend, like so into each other. And then, 9 months later.
And you were with him, so you found out that he knocked up a girl. And
about 2 weeks before she was born, we were at my sister's house in Palm Desert. He was just acting weird. And he was always such a delight. I'm like, what's your problem, And he finally is just like, there's a person saying that I might be the father of their child.
Wow.
So in my head, I just imagined like a 2.5-year-old, like somebody that he met before me. Like, well, what, who is it? And then he's like, well, she hasn't, baby hasn't been born yet. I'm like, wait a minute. And then but when I did the math, I was like, well, he didn't cheat on me. Like,
No,
and I
no.
was just like, oh my God. And then I had to deal with it. And I was like, and I was writing on a sketch show at the time, this show called Lyricist Lounge. And it was like predominantly African-American rappers and writers. And I was like the sketch player with Tracy Ellis Ross. We were like the two funny girls on it. And I'm a writer on it too. And so I'm sharing an office with 3 African-American people. So a girl and 2 guys. And I finally broke down and told them. And they're all like, fucking run for the hills. Like,
Really?
Run for the hills.
I
Like,
thought they'd be like, he's a keeper.
him. Oh, no. They
Oh,
dump him. You have too much going for yourself. And I was like, oh, God. But I really thought this was like the one. I really love him. And I didn't know what to do. And then he was like, whatever you want to do is fine. But I spoke to an attorney. And if this child is mine, I am paying. I'm seeing her or him. We didn't know what the baby was. And, but I understand, and I was kind of like, and he had this Ford Expedition at the time that was like a pretty nice car. And I was like, if I blow this guy off, there's going to be some other girl in that passenger seat in like a year having like a really nice life. Like,
you're not going to do that again.
Yeah. And then like people were just like, you could do better. I'm like, I think you guys think I'm more happening than I am. Like, I don't think I can do that much better.
So now,
because otherwise he was like perfect.
Now,
Wow.
when the little girl was born,
so then when
were
she
you
was
in
born,
in her life, like
yes,
the whole
right from
time,
the
like,
start,
the birth mother was cool with that because it could go. the
No,
wrong
it was
way.
horrible.
Was it?
No, it was a horrible Lifetime movie that you could maybe star in. If it ever gets made,
Talk to me after the show.
you could maybe. There's many roles you could be. But there.
He'd be the guy that came in his pants before.
At the
I'm
Teen Choice
gonna play
Awards.
all the roles.
Yeah, go on.
So no, it was not. So she has the baby, and right away, before it takes 2 weeks for a DNA test. Right away, Peter went, took photos, told his mother, and that was weird too, because the mom is so sweet. I love my mother-in-law, and she's like, I'm crying because it's so weird, because you're like, oh, I thought I wanted to be the first person that had your child. Like,
Yeah.
it just was like heartbreaking, but I was also like, she's a little healthy baby. Like, what if I can't have children? This is the only baby I can raise. I'm just going to throw this away? Like, what? This is so dumb. I don't know. So I was just really torn and really upset and I was very selective about who I told, because I knew most of my friends would be like, what?
Yeah.
So I only told like one really good girlfriend and one sister, not the other. And I was like, oh my God, And so my mother-in-law's like, yeah, I thought it was crazy. I thought it would be you. And Peter, because he called her and he's like, well, you're a grandmother again. And she's like, oh, Heather's pregnant? No. She was like, what?
Have I got a story for you?
The story is just crazy of what we had to go through. She did some odd things that then, made people like social services think she wasn't equipped, but she was. But it was just a nightmare. And then, and I thought going there to the hospital a couple days after would show this like 35-year-old woman, like, hey, when Peter has the baby on the weekends, like, know that like I'm there to help.
She's in
And
good
like,
hands, yeah.
you guys were in a couple, like you should be happy to know. And I'm not weird about it. I'm not telling
right.
him not to see his child or not to pay. Complete opposite. And then like years later, when we were like in a custody battle to try to get her to go to school with us at 5, that would be brought up. And it was a fucking problem in my marriage because I insisted on it. I was like,
going to the hospital?
yes. I was like,
but don't you know that women are a little nuts when they give birth? They probably don't want to see.
well, do
Yeah,
I
the
regret
What
it?
is it? The chemical Pitocin is released for their
Yes,
body, and
I
they
mean-
go bonkers.
And so it looked like we were it looked like we were real assholes to her, and so even the judge was like, here, Mr. All-American, and the sorority girl from SC goes to the single mother and trying to take, and she.
The judge said that?
And she
What
was.
kind of judge is that?
And she was an immigrant, so
Oh.
it looked like, Whitey's taking this little
Right.
baby for ourselves, and it was just.
That it sounds like a great Lifetime movie.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets better.
We
It
really
gets
need to
better.
write this.
But some of it. So then later on, I shared it on my podcast, but only on my Patreon, and I waited till my daughter turned 18.
But I know, are you guys close?
Yeah. So then we tried to get her at 5. We went through all, the process of it all, because we really thought she'd have a more structured life and a better life with us. And we were like, and then the mom could see her on the weekends, whatever. In the end, the judge is like, well, I looked at this whole, explanation, whatever it was. I forgot the name of it, something evaluation. He's like, and clearly, Peter is the superior parent and can provide a superior home and blah, blah, blah. But she's the mom, so that's it. I was like, so I'm like, oh my God, we did that all for nothing,
Wow.
There's
and
a
then,
crazy percentage that, because it happened in my divorce, was that there's a crazy percentage that is like 98.9% of moms get custody of.
That's how I knew my
Right.
mom. That's how I knew my
Regardless.
mom was crazy, because my dad got full custody of me and my sister. That's
It's
when
so
when you
hard.
know that, there's something off. When it's
yeah, I
Spears,
mean,
too.
we had, there were social services, there were many things like that.
yeah.
And
wow.
I mean, the juiciest one, I don't feel comfortable saying, but it was really bad, and it still didn't matter. And so then we were like, okay. So then literally that day I was like, okay, so let's try to have a second, because at this time I had my one son. So I'm like, all right, well, let's have a second. That's the other thing. I think if we'd
Was that
gotten her,
Brandon or Drake?
so
Was the first
Drake is the first one,
First
and then
one.
Brandon was the second. So literally that day I was kind of like, because I really thought if we had her full custody, I may have not had any more kids, because I was like, oh, I got the girl, I got the boy, like that's a lot, and da-da. So I'm always like, everything works out. So then we'd have her on the weekends, we'd have her for the summer, and then at 11, she and her mom are just like going at each other, they're fighting, and then finally the mom is like, I think she should go to school, and live with you. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, we'll get her in 7th grade. She'll do 2 last years at the Catholic elementary, and then she'll go to my all-girl high school, and
Is that what happened?
yeah, that's what happened. And it was like, it was fucking hard.
It is, but at
It
the
was
same
hard.
time,
It was not, she wasn't fun. Like she's so amazing now. Like I can't even believe how much her personality has changed since she went away to college. Like it was, but I mean, I did it and everything.
Well, what's cool though? A lot of kids nobody
Yeah.
wants. This kid everybody wanted.
Mhm.
So that's kind of cool.
So
Well, it's
but-
interesting too. You said
yeah.
she started knocking heads with mom at around 11 or 12,
Yes.
and from my experience, that's what happened with my oldest boy. And now you said she's changed. Like she was hard in that period when she was with
was
you
just-
and Peter.
yeah.
And then she's changed so much when she's gone to college. And
Mhm.
and that's what I'm seeing now too with my boy. I just wonder if that's just sort of a natural progression. You're just like, I'm with this parent, and now I'm starting to figure out who I am. I'm knocking heads with you. I'm just gonna bail and go with dad.
But
and
also the
stepmom.
kid's torn until she's 11. Now they have full custody.
I
now
mean, I
it's
think
not
I think it was just like a very
It's a real
confusing
feeling
time.
out period.
It's a confusing too, because she was like, so her mom is half Vietnamese, half Chinese. So, she doesn't look like us. And she's the only girl. And I think she almost wanted to exaggerate those differences, like to make it, and such a different personality to my son, because my son is nothing really bothers him. If he does great in sports, he doesn't boast about it. If he does horrible, he's like, all right. Like he just has a good attitude. So, and she was so emotional, and there's so many times that she'd get so upset and like want to stay home from like something really fun. And I'd be
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Like snap out of it. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face. And it was like, we couldn't convince her. We sent her to therapy, and the therapist said, I have never in my 30 years had somebody that was so stubborn that didn't talk for like 7 sessions.
Wow.
Would not. I was like,
That's
this
pretty
girl
awesome.
is fucking stubborn. And so finally, after 7 sessions, we're like, all right. And then the thing that
She'd be a
turned
terrible
it
podcast
around
host.
is the final thing that like turned it around was she was getting ready, like where she's going to college. We started to have a little more fun like junior and senior year. And she was a really good girl. Like she never caused us any trouble, except she would like not communicate and stuff, and but never like F you mom or nothing like that. Just moody, hard to please. Like I was walking around eggshells in my own house. I remember one time we had just like decorated our house and I had friends coming over. And so I turned on all the lights. I'm an old realtor. I used to be a realtor. It was one of my jobs that I had. If you're going to have a party or you're going to, you turn on the lights.
Right.
So I turn all these lights. And she's like, turning off the lights, you're killing the environment or something. What are you talking about? And she's being so stubborn and awful. And then in my head, I thought, oh, well, in 2 years, I'll be able to turn on the lights. And then I was like, Heather, what are you doing?
Wow.
Like, you support this entire household, and you're having friends come out. Like, no, this little bitch isn't going to tell you that you can't fucking turn on the lights.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? You want to save the environment? Why don't you not watch any TV? Why don't you give me your phone? Like, what the fuck are you talking
Plus, she's from
about?
China. They're the biggest polluters in the world. So it's like, it's not really.
But I have
Hypocrisy.
I have to give you kudos because that's difficult, especially how the pregnancy came about and when your relationship started. But the fact that you stuck it out through thick and thin, and you guys have a great relationship.
But in the future, if you're
kudos
listening,
to
ladies
you.
listening, don't go to your side chick's pregnancy. If you're
Yeah.
Definitely don't. Stay in the
Yeah.
parking lot or
Just-
don't come at all. Probably don't come at all. But
wait till the kid's first birthday, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, I mean,
Wait till
Yeah.
the pinata's being hit with that to show
but
up.
then that would be brought up like it'd be black and white, like in the
Exactly.
thing. And I was like, oh my God, we're gonna fight about this. Like, how did I know what the right protocol? It's the same thing when
Well, that's the
someone's
thing.
like
Nobody
someone
knows what the
dies
right
or someone's
protocol
murdered,
is.
and they're like the husband acted this way or the wife. It's like, who's to say how anyone's gonna act in a situation if you
Yeah.
haven't been in that? Who's
No,
to say
totally.
what it was? Like I said, I thought she was a hairdresser. I thought she's gonna be like cool, like
But that's-
hairdressers
that's-
are.
Suppose you bought a
That's-
push present.
Yeah.
Do you think that could have turned the tide a little?
I wish I had known you as a friend. back then.
Heather,
Push
She's
it.
good
A
with
if
it.
What
I
would you
could
have
turn back
suggested?
time.
a nice Balenciaga bag to push.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
just a
Dean
little
and
bag.
his ex-wife are going. You guys doing great, right? You and your ex-wife.
Yeah, because we don't communicate that much.
No.
No,
once
but
the kid like is 13 and has a cell phone,
Yeah,
and can kind of take you out of
he's
it.
he's kind of on his own,
Yeah.
and so we don't have to communicate that much. And now
Right.
he's gonna be 21 in October, and he's going to SFU, and,
That's great.
and
I want to see the three of you bond over like a nice Liza Minnelli concert.
You know what though? I have to give kudos to my ex-wife. She reached out to Tori and congratulated her on BH 90210, and
Wow.
and
Is
said
that-
she really enjoyed
Is
it.
that because she's getting some of your money?
No, it was actually it was genuine and it was very, very nice. And of course, they're gonna write about this in
All the
some people.
tabloids.
Yeah, it's just like
Thank you, Mary Jo.
Mary Jo, kudos to the 90210. Hey, it rhymes. It's a good headline.
Meanwhile, so today,
Well, what's amazing is why I did share the story and the details of it on my show, and then mostly on the Patreon, the private one, is because it gives people a lot of hope when they're in this shit, because it gets better. If yours got
Yeah.
better and mine got better, it will get better.
Yeah, and
you
it
won't-
can't. It gets ugly.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just it's so hard and awful, especially when they're younger, like where you can physically like hold them. You really feel like someone's taking something from
Yes.
you
Yeah.
when you're just trying to like be the good person and this is your weekend and like. So then once they get older and can do things, but now it's like me for the last 5 years of being with my daughter, I say, did you call your mom? Did you,
Right.
can you see her? You're the only child, like I really push for it. Even though this woman made my life a living hell, I'm like, I feel for it. I'm like, she gave you life and she does love you. I know you don't totally click with her
but
personality.
that also
like,
wasn't cool of her to not tell the guy up until 2 weeks before the baby was. I mean,
well, I mean, what's I
mean,
don't know.
If I got
maybe,
somebody pregnant, I would want to know. Obviously.
I don't know. Who knows?
Again, you never know
Yeah, I don't
how you're
wanna
going to
get-
react in
I
that
don't wanna
situation.
Get those, yeah, exactly. I don't know about those details, but like that type of it. I don't know. It's just but it's great. It's great. Now it's good. Now it's like, and now there's nothing to discuss. Like she's in school. We give her money. Sometimes she gets some money from her mom. She's very independent, and it's like, oh my God. But at one point, like it was about where she was going to live at school, and it was like her mom didn't want her living there, and Peter didn't want her living there, and then she was calling me like, well, what do you think? And I finally just like did a group text. I'm like, I'm done co-parenting with the three of you. I'm like, I just called my daughter. I go, you have three parents. You know, you have me, you have your dad, even though we're a couple and we're married, and you have your mom. Whatever. I go, we're not agreeing. If you need something from me, I'm here, but I'm not fucking fighting about this shit.
Yeah, because then you're in the middle.
Yeah.
And then the mom's going to come after you like a real Lifetime
And
movie.
I didn't
like a
always
switchblade.
agree with my husband either. Like, I felt like sometimes he was like stricter about things, you know, with like, you know, all that type of stuff, like co-signing for an apartment and stuff. I'm like, oh, who cares? Like, so it was just frustrating, but that's what you have to deal with. So at least it's, you know.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you have a great relationship with her.
Well, I want to talk about the Tori Spelling show.
That's where I was going to go. What do you think of BH 90210?
Freaking loved it. Okay, so I was at an event, and Jason Priestley and his wife were there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met them over the years at this mutual friend, and it would have a Christmas party every year. So I didn't talk to him, but I talked to her, and she's lovely.
Naomi, she's sweet.
Yes,
Sweet,
and they've been married for 16 years. They have 2 kids, and that was funny too, because she told me that the kids now, just like in the first episode, started to watch 90210.
Right.
And one of Jason's love interest on the show, I guess, was maybe his real girlfriend in life, but they're still friends today. So they see their dad making out with this woman that they see, and they're like, "Ew, why is Dad making out with Aunt whatever?" You know, and they're like, "Why is Dad kissing so many? Mom, this is so gross. Dad kisses so many people." So she kind of told me, she goes, "I go, what's it?" I go, "This is exciting, you know," and she's like, "Oh, we'll see." She's like, "It'll be interesting if the fans grasp it or not. It's a little unique. Like, I can't tell you." She goes, "But it's a little unique." So then I heard before I watched it a little bit of like, it's a show about a show. And I was just on Mario Lopez talking about how much I loved it because they were like confused. And I'm like, I think I can explain it better than anybody else because I'm like, I think they're going out and they're not, and people are confused by the explanation. And I'm like, no, it's so genius because they're all playing like an exaggerated or a version of themselves, which is so fun to see. But then still, the last episode, they left you on that little like creepy what's going on cliffhanger that we would always see on 90210. So I am so happy that they got it made and that they're doing it and that she's the creator of it. And it just made me smile from beginning to end. I was just like,
I was the same. I told the boys last week. I know it sounds biased, but I loved every frame of it. It was so good.
It was like funny. It was cool. It was, oh my God. And making Gabrielle, Andrea's character, a late life lesbian.
Kiss?
I'm like, thank you.
And she was so good in that scene,
Yes.
the kiss, and when she backed out of the bar, she was adorable.
Everybody
was amazing.
It's so good. I think it's so fun.
I hope they scissor in the second episode. That's my fingers are crossed for tonight. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm hoping for some friction.
Well, I know the writers, so maybe next season we'll get some scissor action.
And how's Tori feeling about it?
She's thrilled about it. You know, she was really worried. You know, it took a lot to get made and pull everything together, and I've never seen her work so hard. You know, her and Jenny just slaved over this.
Because they had a couple other projects together leading up to it.
They had
like other different
Mystery
things.
Girls,
okay,
which was on ABC Family, and it was really good. But there was shit going down personally that kind of affected that show, and then we did True Tory around it, which kind of killed it, I think. So they've been friends forever, and they've had a couple projects again, Mystery Girls, and they had a couple of Christmas projects going, that are still in the process. But they're so good together. They're such a good producing partner.
That's great
partnership, yeah. But it just she was on pins and needles because it's like it's one thing to get it made, and then you put it out there and you're like, oh shit, we made it. Now I hope people like it.
Yes.
You know, for your hard work to pay off. And so far, knock on wood, the numbers have been good. The feedback's been great. The reviews have been great.
And now I know you guys have sex every day. Is it now like 10 times a day because everyone's so happy?
It's less because
Really?
she's worked so much. Yeah.
Wow.
It's maybe 5 out of 7 days.
Oh, you're slipping.
Yeah. I
Good
know.
for you.
You
I'm
seem a little
dying-
tense
I'm
this
dying
week,
over here.
honestly.
I got blue balls.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Meanwhile, so today I took my kid to Zuga. I do like a mommy and me class.
Okay,
you know?
but it's called Daddy and Me.
No, I'm the only guy. It's all.
Oh, okay.
It's all nannies and mothers, and I mean, there's one time there was one guy who almost got into a fight in the class with another woman who wasn't paying attention to her kid. And yada,
Oh,
yada.
jeez.
That's
So-
a funny story.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
But this little girl, we walked in, and this girl's just screaming like, ah, on top of her lung, and her mom is like kind of giggling, but it was cute, but it was like. It was a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And the girl was like, must have been like 2, or it was like, you know, it wasn't her fault, but she was just like, to the point
It's
where.
because you wanted to watch BH 90210.
Well, because the mom had to like pick her up and like take her out of the class, and then
Yeah.
she brought her back, and the girl loved babies, so she walks up to Violet, and Violet's like looking at herself in the mirror. That's what she does in the class sometimes, and kisses herself. That's
Okay, well, it's good
and
to have some self-love. Start it young.
So then
Little
then the
narcissist.
girl like pinches my daughter's back of her neck,
Oh.
and like she's like almost like picked her up, like she's like, you know, like you pick up a hamster or something, like.
right.
And then and the mom's like, no, it'd be easy, and I was like, you know, I wasn't upset, but I was like a little concerned. And then the mom looks at me, she's like, sorry, she's just very passionate. I was like,
At one?
like what? Like pat? Is that the right word? Like pat? Like, and then the mom was pretty. I could tell that maybe she's passionate too. But it was just like I didn't know how to react to that. Like
Yeah,
I, was
I
like,
wouldn't know
was
how
like-
to react to that.
I was
It
like,
just-
it's okay. I was like, it's all right. It's fine. So you know, but it was.
That's always a really hard thing when your kid comes home with like bite marks and you're like, oh fuck. Like,
Yeah,
because you
I-
feel bad. I also feel bad for the other parent of the biter. Because
your kid
obviously
used to come home with bite marks.
that'll happen once in
Yeah,
a while at like a
scratches and
preschool
stuff
or
like
something.
that,
No,
yeah.
And
scratches,
then you're
but
like,
someone's-
is there a biter? And then you're like, you know that the parent isn't like saying, hey, when you go to preschool today, make sure you bite a couple kids. So I always feel kind of bad for the parent that has like
The biter.
the little fucked up kid. Yeah, because you're like, fuck. But at the same time, you're like, my son's thighs are not your snack.
So
Like,
what did you do? Did you go to the class and tell the teacher there was a biter?
I mean, I'm the kind of parent, like, I'm the one that always takes, like, the teacher's side. I'm like, you're the educator. Tell me what you need. Like, I'm not the person that's like, not my kid. Like, I'm like, really? It's okay. So it wasn't his fault. All right. Well, like, maybe keep him separated, but, like, I don't know another school to send him to. So this
Yeah.
better work out.
Guess
Like,
it's boarding school.
yeah, like,
Pack your bags.
Not like I'm like, I'm pulling him out. I'm like, to go where? Like, you know,
The
I'm not
army.
Did
driving
you ever have a kid
25
bite one of your
miles.
kids?
No biting.
And my brother's class, it was a biter.
We were good up
Your brother's
until
like a paraplegic. It's the easiest bite ever.
Yeah.
So,
He
but-
couldn't run from it. He was an easy target. He was like, bite me, literally.
Then he started running people
Could he even
over.
feel it? Could he feel the bite?
Yeah.
Oh.
He didn't get bit, but there's somebody in the class who bit
Aw.
because the wheelchair was high, so the kid couldn't
Oh wow.
get up high enough.
So they deflated his tires. Or something.
Right.
We never
That's
we
what-
never had a biter, but we got into some bullying stuff in grade 5 and 6.
What did you
With
do?
the girls or boy?
Both.
Oh, really?
Both the girls, yeah.
Do you guys
Girls-
fight with the other parents in the class? Did that ever happen?
I was not like an involved enough parent. Like I always wanted to be, and then I would like finally have a little time off, and I'd show up at the school, and they'd be like, all the moms would be like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well, I have some time. You know, I have time to do something," and then I would like try to like join in on the activity, and I was always like, I'm not crafty, so I'd like start to do it wrong, and I honestly, I'm like, I'd rather stand in front of like 500 people and do stand up and bomb than like not do this art project right in front of like these bitchy moms. Like it
Then
was
make
so
macaroni
stress-
picture frames
like
with you
it was
bitches.
so stressful, and I kind of feel like now that it's almost over because my youngest son is going to 8th grade. I'm like, this is his last year at the school, and I'm like a little bit sad, and then I'm like, what did I miss anything? I don't know. I kind of wanted more of that, but then when I would see what happened, it would be so hard and so political because there'd be these moms that were like once like the head of marketing, and now they're like a stay-at-home mom, and they're treating like being room mom like they're fucking heading up Amazon.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
relax. Like,
PTA moms could have took down ISIS, honestly. Like the commitment.
Agreed.
How do your kids do in
They're
school?
fierce. The kids doing great in school. But I couldn't get involved. Also, I mean, I'm 52, so school was different for me. Like my dad didn't even know where I went to school. Like, he didn't know where the school was. So, like, as far as being involved in school,
it
it's like
didn't feel like natural to you because your dad wasn't like,
it was
yeah.
too much. You know, when I'd show up, it was like, hey, do you volunteer for this, and then did this, and there's this committee, and then there's this
Yeah.
party, and this festival, and this celebration, and I was like, when I went to school, it's like you did a Christmas play, and you were done. That was it. You know, there
Yes.
was no Thanksgiving feast. There was no Easter festival. There was no parades. And it was just like,
My dad,
And
used
it
to,
was-
my dad used to like type my papers for me on the typewriter, and one time he got like a C, and like, and my stepmom yelled at both of us. Like,
I
true story.
we have to do a certain amount of hours, everybody at the school.
Yeah.
And
I just don't want to get that involved.
so my husband started doing the golf tournament.
Oh, well,
my
that
thing just
doesn't
went off.
count.
I guess my you hear me though?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
here,
yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, my husband started doing this golf tournament, which was great. So if you're in the charge of something, then you're both fine. Like no one's going to
You
come up
gold
to
it.
me to do anything. So that kind of made me like sort of lazy, but it was it was like that took the heat off of it a little
my,
bit.
my,
of
my
doing
wife
all
and
that.
I, we went to like a birthday party over the weekend. And this girl, you could tell, she's like my wife and I, we felt like bad parents because it was at like a gymboree.
Yes.
And they were like, oh, we're all playing to this with the balls. And then my kid's running the other way. You know, like they all had like supposed to do stuff in the circle and she's looking in the corner or like, and then like the mother was like, oh, you know, this is a cake, but it's sugar-free frosting. Don't worry. And it's blueberry because that's her favorite thing. And like I gave my daughter cookies. So she's just chocolate all over her face.
Yeah.
And then my wife's looking at it.
They got mad. They thought
Yeah.
she was doing Al Jolson stuff.
I don't even know what
Blackface.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what. We got kicked out for doing.
Oh my god.
So Adam's banned from Gymboree.
She's
So my wife was like, maybe we should put Violet on a better diet, and then
Yeah.
also not as much TV in the house. So I had to tell the nanny, the old nanny, not this one, but the old nanny, I had to tell like, hey, not as much television in the house. I'm sorry, like we're not allowed to, because I think she's like, do you guys have nannies?
We had one, but then we caught her stealing.
Ooh. And
Yes,
jokes?
we set the
nanny,
cameras.
nanny cam.
We
Like,
did the cameras,
jokes
and
or no?
I thought she was stealing, and I was like, I think she's stealing, and my husband's like, no, you're so disorganized. She's probably not stealing, but I'll get these cameras and make sure that she's not. Oh, then he had some money missing from like where he kept the cash in his office, which there was no reason for her ever to go in the office.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so then he was going to set up the cameras, but I was so scared about losing this woman because I was like, she knows how to do stuff, and I'm working on Chelsea lately. I call my sister and I'm like, do I tip her off? Like, can you not steal tomorrow? Because I don't really want to lose you. And my sister's like, no, you can't do that. Like this is, you don't want someone like. I'm like, oh God. Sure enough, the first day of the cameras,
No.
my minute I left, my husband left. It's like he goes back to look at like 8:25. Where my son is, I don't know, because she's there. She's on the phone. She goes to the place, which is hidden under this thing. And my husband had like $270 or something in cash. It takes like about 80 or something. And and he had noticed like stuff like that. I had like a $100 Target gift card that like went missing, things like that. So that's why. And I was so sad because she had kids and I felt bad for her. And we like, kid had to have like some operation. We gave her time off. We like bought her a car. And I was starting to think like, okay, once they go to, could I make her more of an assistant? Could she like start shopping or cooking for me? Like I was thinking, how can I keep her like, oh my God, it was heartbreaking. It was like finding out like,
That's tough.
Did you have to
A
fire
family
her or your
member.
husband?
yeah, no, he did. And then she called me crying and I just let it go to voicemail. And then I was crying because I felt badly, but like, it was
When
the
I was
best
younger,
thing.
we had a nanny that was stealing from us, and it was so obvious. She was wearing like my T-shirts that had like my gym, like it would be like
I'm with stupid.
no, it was basically like my baseball uniform that had
Wait.
like my last name on it.
That's hilarious.
But like we still never fired her. We're like,
Well,
she
this-
like denied it. We're
Well,
like,
when this went down, I was at like a birthday party for a friend of ours, and Kris Jenner and Courtney were there. This is a long time ago, like maybe 8-9 years ago, and we were friendly. And I'm like, I've just had a really hard day with my nanny, and all of a sudden Courtney's like, did she steal from you? And I go, yes. She's like, oh my God, Mom had like so many nannies that stole from us, and she would not fire. And Kris is like, I did not. She's like, Mom, just tell the story. And she's like, they had this one nanny whose son was like the same. She had two boys that were the same age as Robert. So the weekend would come and all the girls were there, and Robert, I guess being the only son, the nanny would be like, oh, if Robert wants to come back to my place, which I mean, I don't think it was in Hidden Hills, can Robert come? Sure. So Robert would go home with them and like play with the boys. And he came back and he's like, Mom, you know all those shirts that are missing with the alligator? He's like,
I found
Jose and Juan.
Oh my God.
But even she was like, but so what? Like, she's
Oh,
good.
God.
Right.
I can trust her with the little girls, whatever.
And she took
And
Bruce's
then,
penis too.
And then she finally, what'd you say?
She took Bruce's penis as well.
Then she finally snapped. The girl finally stole one thing, and she caught her, and she was finally like,
Well, it's
hard.
It's tough, and I don't know if you're the same, but like you hire someone to take care of your most precious
right.
gifts, and they become family after a while.
Right,
You know,
so
you don't
feel
want to
so-
treat them
yeah.
as like staff.
Well, we had
It's
one
like,
nanny that was drinking. We found her alcohol. Bubby was 4 months old. Found her bottle of like alcohol. It was behind my cocaine. And no, it was like in the bathroom. But then another nanny, like, so
How many of you had? Your baby's how
There's
old?
only one. She's one.
One.
She just turned one.
because the whole house is wired. Is this
Okay.
videos every and and
Okay,
it-
Robert Ailes. Did
but
you
it-
guys see that show?
It
So
also,
good.
but it also
Yeah.
goes to my wife's mom's phone.
Okay.
So she's watching all day long. Like,
Where
so-
does she live, the mom?
Fresno.
Oh.
But she's tipping us off. Like,
You
hey,
don't-
hey, by the way,
She's in a news van
By the
watching.
way, by the way, she left the baby on like the baby counter.
Oh
went
my
to the
God.
closet, and then while she was changing a
That
diaper.
is so hilarious.
So then I gotta be the one to tell. Listen, you can't leave the baby. And then another time, so I was like, no TV. So then I could tell that I don't know. She had cable because she was watching a lot of television. And then it seemed like she was trying to put the baby to bed, and I heard the baby crying in the baby's room with the door
Yeah.
closed. So I peeked my head in, and Violet sees me and dad, and then now the nanny's frustrated because she was trying to put the baby to bed, and I interrupted. I cock blocked the napping session. Kind of.
Yes, yes.
So she's like, it's hard enough with you here and with the baby. I was like I live here.
She said that to you?
Yeah, she's like, it's hard for me to do my job, and I'm like, but I pay you. And if
I don't know if she is a subscriber to this podcast, but I would say this is not going to work out.
yeah,
You got to find someone. And that's always really sad, too, when you ever have, like, someone that works for you, whether it's at your company or an assistant or something, and you reveal to someone, like, what's going down, and they're like, Heather, it's over. And you're like, no, but I think I can still make it work. Like, I would say I would start to find someone because it's becoming now exactly that. Like,
I'm so bad at
You got
that.
to be comfortable in your home, and it is your home, and,
I'm so bad. Like I had a girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, like she was an alcoholic, and she would get completely drunk and be like, say things like, if you break up with me, I'm gonna kill myself, or like I'll get naked and I'll call the cops. Just crazy shit. You know?
Is this what the nanny's saying?
No, but I was like, it's over. You have to leave. When someone lives with you, it's hard to get them out. You
Yes.
know? And when
Does,
you're paying
does
the-
this nanny live with you?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, listen, you have to leave. And then she's like, okay, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And then I come home and there'd be like lasagna, and I'd be like, ugh. And
She
then,
made you the lasagna?
Of course.
It
And
is
she-
a very it's a tedious
and then
dish to make,
she'd
by
be
the way.
like, hey, listen, I just really want to give you a blowjob.
It is.
And I'm like, okay, you can give me a blowjob.
Okay,
You know?
confused.
And
Is
then
this the
leave.
nanny?
No, not the nanny, like the ex-girlfriend.
The ex-girlfriend.
And then like 8 minutes into the blowjob, I'm like, all right, we can work this out. Like it was, so like, but this really.
So you're looking for ways to work it out with the nanny.
No, I'm not looking. I'm just saying it's hard for me to like.
But this is why you need to dry hump, like me and Heather. I think
But it
you wouldn't have had that problem.
It is a huge pain in the ass, though. And it's so overwhelming. You're like, oh my god, but this person knows the thing. But I would kind of put the feelers out.
Well, also the thing is
But I
though,
don't think
There's also like a 2 to 6 week period where they're great when you first hire
yeah.
a nanny or a housekeeper. They're great, and then it starts to go down.
How do you have a nanny with 5 kids? I mean, do you have like a team?
No. We have one person that we use when we need.
Yeah.
Because we're aside from 90210, like we have actors' hours, so
Yeah.
we have a lot of time free, which has been great because we got to watch all our kids grow up together.
Yeah.
And no one was sort of absent. But yeah, we have one person that we use, and
Wow.
it took a long time to find the right person.
Have you had to fire nannies before?
Oh yeah,
For what?
yeah. Just again, like that 2 to 6 week window where they first come on and they're like, wow, this person is great. All the boxes are checked. And then they start to go down. They start watching TV. They start ignoring the baby. Lots of phone time. Phone time's a big one.
The iPhones. I mean, like, come on, exactly. And I see it all the time. I see these nannies like at a park or walking the kid or something, and I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? Like, no, like,
Oh, I was on the bed the other day with the baby. We're playing, and then all of a sudden, my phone's like, she always goes for the phone. So I reach over for the phone, and she starts rolling the opposite direction, and was off the bed, rolled over, and it's like
you got her?
I caught her by her foot. Her head was like this close. She was completely upside down from like the floor, and I was like, what? It was like cliffhanger, like I just. And then she's smiling like, oh, that's a fun game, and I was like, oh my god.
Let's
like,
do it again.
That's.
So it takes a second.
Have you ever like dropped your kid or had your kid fall or?
Dropped intentionally?
No.
Oh, I had a bad one.
What'd you have?
So my son was maybe like around 5 months old, and you know how you just put them on like the car seat, or you use the car seat to just like as a seat, and so he was, I could just sit him there, and I wouldn't always strap it because he wasn't
The one that
strong
clips
enough.
in and out that
Yeah,
you
so
carry,
he
that
wasn't
one.
strong
Okay.
enough to get out. So I just put him in there, and it was like a beautiful morning. And I just remember going, like, could life get better than this? It's like, seriously what I was thinking. And he was just starting to eat, like, the rice cereal, which is, like, the thing after the formula.
Yeah.
So it's, like, so fun for, like, you to feed this kid because they're, like getting all excited. And so I go and I'm making it. And he's like, and then all of a sudden I hear this. So I turn my back to the kitchen, which is this time. All of a sudden I hear this.
Punk.
Like, I look, the chair is empty. He is on the ground, face down.
Oh,
And
off the high
screaming-
chair.
Not off, out of the chair. It was the first day that he had the strength to like throw himself.
But it wasn't
out
off
of
a
the
high
chair.
chair. It was like a. It was,
No, but
it
the
was
chair
on the
was
ground.
on the dining room table, and he went and he hit his face on a cushion chair and
My
then
God.
fell down. So he
Carpet
didn't,
or
he didn't
hardwood?
hit like the back of his head.
Carpet or hardwood?
It was hardwood.
Oh, jeez.
Look, okay, let me just. Obviously, he's fine today. Okay, he's in honors math, but
He
whatever.
just has a little
But-
tick, but
We have to
But
meet him. The guy-
That it was
Yeah.
like a Monday
We'll be
or
the judge of that.
Tuesday, and that Saturday or Sunday was his christening. So he was like 5 months of christening, and I'm like crying. Like I remember I like peed in my pants. My husband was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm the worst mother ever."
Why did you pee in
Like,
your pants?
just like fear, like
Oh.
just the fear. I just was like, oh, like I just felt so terrible. And later that day, like I remember I'm like grocery shopping, and he's looking at me. He's like, and it's like full black eye.
Oh.
Black eye. And I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to deal with this christening with this black eye? Like I look like the worst mother and everything. So at his christening, I had to put like matte concealer on it.
You
I
should've made-
admire that.
You should have made the other one black and then say he's like a raccoon or something.
Did it come off in the holy water?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really,
That's how
that's
good.
something
Man,
to
Mac
think
is
about.
good. Mac concealer
It
is
was,
good.
it was like, it wasn't a creamy foundation. It was
Oh.
like a real like
Oh, my
matte.
God.
My
Yeah.
oldest boy Jack scared the shit out of me. It happened to Jack, it happened to Liam, and it happened to Hattie. Febrile seizures.
What is that?
A febrile seizure is when there's temperature spikes so quickly that it flips them
Oh.
into a seizure.
So they're sick already and they have a fever, but then it
not
goes to-
even. No, because the first time it happened was with Jack. Jack was 3 or 4, because it happens with boys 5 and under.
Oh.
We were staying at my sister's house. This was in Canada. We went to visit her for the weekend, and we were hanging out. And I just had Jack. Mary Jo was off shooting something, and we got ready for bed. And he slept in my arms. Yeah, I think he was about 3. So he would sleep in my arms. So I went to my nephew's room where we were sleeping. I put him in my arm. I reached over and I flicked out the light. And as soon as I turned the light off, Jack just went, ugh, ugh. I thought he was scared of the dark. So I'm like,
Yeah?
okay, buddy, don't worry. I flicked the light on, and there he is, totally stiff, with his eyes rolling back
Oh, my
in
God.
his head. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's how I am when I nut.
So I scooped him up, and he was just limp with like the eyes rolled back in the head. And I got my sister, and she was like, we ran downstairs. We got 911. It's the same thing that happened when I was 1. I had a febrile
So
seizure.
is it a genetic thing? Or is like I bet there's something a little bit.
It may
yeah.
be because I had a febrile seizure when I was 1, and thank God my oldest sister, because she was there for my febrile seizure, so she
my
knew what to do.
God. What do you do?
Well, the ambulance came, and you just keep them. You put them in the survival position.
What's
The survival position is on your side.
Oh,
so if
okay.
you throw up or anything, you don't choke on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God!
loosen
were you
loosen-
crying or you
loosen
had?
that
I mean, you
garment.
must have.
I was just completely in shock. And then when he started to come out of the seizure, he was sitting there again with his eyes rolled back in his head, going. And I thought, oh my God, he's got brain damage. Like,
Yeah.
What just happened? And then so the ambulance came. The EMTs were great. we got to the hospital, and he was in his little chair that your little guy fell out of. And he looked at me. He was conscious. He said, "Dada," and projectile vomited all over me because he had like 104 temperature.
Oh my! This is in Canada.
This is in Canada,
That's
yeah.
traumatic.
And then it happened to Liam. It happened.
But you had that free health insurance, so that was good, right?
Oh, it was
That's
great.
Part of it,
It was
yeah.
great. Yeah, no, it was great. And then it happened to Liam when Liam was 2, and Tori was pregnant with Stella. And I was in West Covina getting tattoos, so it happened, and so it was just crazy. She freaked out, and she thought again, "Oh my God, the baby's dying." Eyes back and rolled back in his head. It's frightening.
It's crazy.
Are you done with your tattoos now?
No, not
You're
at
just
all.
gonna
That's
keep
really
I gotta
scary,
start
though.
working on this arm.
Are you really gonna work on that
Really?
one?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you gonna get?
Picture the three of us.
I don't know yet. Yeah, maybe the daddy issues logo.
Yeah.
No, I wanna. I don't know where it's gonna go, but I want to get a piece
Why don't you get a tramp stamp?
with all the musicians. Maybe that's where I'll put
Yeah.
it.
No,
All
it's
the
it's
musicians
the,
that
yogurt
influenced
truck.
me in my life. So like Joe Strummer of the Clash, Freddie Mercury from Queen, David Bowie, Johnny Cash. I want to get like their portraits.
All the gays.
Do you think your kids? Do you think your kids will
Erasure. The guys from Erasure.
Do you think your kids will want to get tats?
My 21-year-old Jack, he's got 5.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, he started at 18. So yeah,
Interesting.
it's in his
Do you have
blood.
tattoos?
No,
Mm.
I don't have any. Neither does my husband.
You're so uncool.
I know.
Oh my God.
My dad had one that just was USMC that he got after
that's
the
pretty cool.
war. So but I just never had a desire. Like I thought about it for like a minute, like when I was in college, like I'll get this crescent moon of my sorority, and I'm like, thank God I didn't.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I like them. I really like how people do like the handwrite, like a saying here. I mean, there's certain parts of the body that
Like courage. Or
yeah,
something?
for like girls and stuff. Like I think you have to. For girls, I think if you're gonna get one, like just be smart about where you put it.
Yeah, I know a girl on her ass that had deeper in big letters.
Oh my
I
God.
swear, she showed me
Are
this
you
after
serious?
a show. I was like,
Ew.
yeah,
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, that,
Have you-
and
have
it
you-
wasn't kind of on an ass that you want to go even
But I mean-
near.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the woman who like got her actual butthole tattooed?
No,
Like yeah, Google it.
was it Tori?
No. But come to think of it, don't worry.
Does Tori have any
It was
tattoos?
Mary Jo. No.
But my daughter was so awful about getting any kind of shots. I mean, even when she went to college, you have to like get these shots so you don't get meningitis, whatever it's called. Meningitis is really dangerous, so you have to get these shots before college. And she still, like it took the nurse like so long. And I've always been like, if you fucking go and sit down and get a tattoo after what you've put us through, every time you have to get a shot, like so dramatic. So far she hasn't, but I wouldn't
That
be
you
surprised.
know of.
Yeah,
That
but I
you
wouldn't be
know.
surprised if a couple years,
By the
She
way,
went to
yeah.
college and got shots of tequila. And
Yeah.
now she's a lot more loose. And those
Now
are the only
she's okay
shots
with
she
the
got.
needles now.
Svatica, yeah.
By the way, your comedy tour is so ridiculous. Like, you're a very funny comic, but I watched your tour. You're like, come to a wine tasting / comedy show at like 4:00, and it's always in Santa Barbara. I'm like, what kind of tour?
Wait,
like,
what was that?
What kind of
that
crowds-
was a
what
while
kind of
ago.
crowds do you get
I
at
think
4
no, I
o'clock?
think I was doing like something different. Like I was trying to, but no, most of my shows all my shows are at night. It must have been like I must have.
You know what I'm
been-
talking about, though,
Was
right?
it a seniors?
No, I
was
think
it for
I
seniors?
did. I think I did like a different thing a couple years ago where I was like, you can ask me anything, and let's like I want to meet the people, like because of the podcast and talking about it, and then
But that's kind of cool. Over
yeah,
some
and then
wine,
I
it's very
then I used
civilized.
to have people that were like special fans, and they'd get to come to the green room, and I'd like then I used to do cute lunches where if you were like write me and I'm coming to your city, and then I'd pay to have lunch with these two people, and then I was like, and then they were coming to the green room, and then I was like, finally I go, wait a minute, now I'm doing like 6 shows a night because I have to be
You're right.
on with the green
Yeah,
room
you're
people.
crazy.
Then I have to do the show, and then I do the after part. So then I finally was like, no, now I just do a meet and greet
Just
after
wine
the
and cheese at
show.
4.
Yeah.
And
I was like a 3:00 wine and cheese
that
/
was
comedy tour.
now I'm like
this is crazy.
too much.
Wine, a couple
And
of
that's
Slim
why I like
Jims, and you're out of here.
bringing it back to doing the stand up that I'm producing. I'm producing my own stand up special. I did one 5 years ago that was on Showtime, and then Netflix bought it. But it really, to be honest, it didn't like do that much for me. And I think it was maybe ahead of its time. Maybe because it was on Showtime first. Maybe because 5 years ago Netflix wasn't what it is
Well,
today.
even now, you could do a Netflix special, and if they don't promote it, it gets buried. I know guys that like had Netflix specials that
Really?
nobody has seen.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely like no one was excited for it. Like, and I was kind of like, I think what I'm doing is somewhat, unique. Like I talk about being married and having all these kids, and I know there's like a lot of mom, comics now, but they're like pregnant. They're like new moms. I'm kind of telling when you've gone this many years and like funny stories like that, but it's still relatable. I still have a really young
Nothing's
audience.
off limits.
Yeah, I have a young audience. I have young girls. I have like a lot of mom daughters that go that are like, and now I have like a lot of husbands. So it's not like men don't like it. And
That's very
so
funny.
then with the next, so I was like, can you get me a Netflix special? I kept asking my agents or any kind of special type of thing. And then I finally was just there, then I had some friends that started to do it themselves. And I'm like, why not? If you can get the money together, we're going to do it to the level that it's buyable. It's at the quality that anyone could buy it. And if not, then,
you
then
can sell
great.
them after shows.
Yeah,
to people.
or you put it online and you use it as you choose to use it. You own
Right.
it completely. So
So that's coming up. You're gonna.
so I'm
you just shoot your
taping that,
special.
and then yeah.
But that's
so
such a disaster because having to not. I mean, not.
what's a
I'm,
disaster?
No, not.
Thanks for.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
saying.
come to Daddy Issues
No.
and plug your show.
I'm not saying that what you're doing is disaster. I'm saying having to plan that is a fucking disaster.
Let me just tell you, it's been an awful 2 weeks. Like it's so we're talking
Thank you.
on Monday, so it'll have just passed. But I literally said to my assistant, I do this weird type of stuff where I'm like, I'm so stressed about the weekend, okay? Because I have 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. We're taping. I decided to do it at the Irvine Improv because I'm like, that way the audience is already there.
Right.
I'm not. 5 years ago, I did it in North Hollywood, and I made it too much about my friends coming.
Yeah.
And like it was almost like I was hosting a party, and I'm
Right.
backstage, and someone's like, "I don't know if I can make it. I didn't. My Easter baskets aren't done because it's Saturday before Easter." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, so I was like, "Okay,
You
I
really
don't."
should have picked a better day.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't even want to like have one person that I know there. Like, who
Which is
cares?
the way to do it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's how it would be at a comedy show.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, no, I don't even. So
But even that, how are you getting 300 people? That room is huge. It's 500.
thank you for
people.
stressing me the fuck out. I
Yeah,
mean,
wow.
no, it's.
I'm
I
telling
don't
you the
know if
truth.
I don't.
Heather McDonald, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show.
I
telling you
chose
the truth.
it because when I was speaking to Eliza, she was doing one, and she's like, "I where are you doing it?" And she's like, "I just chose like a date that's already on my calendar that I think would be great to film at." So that's what kind of gave me the idea. Like rather than starting a whole new place,
Mhm.
I'm already going there. It's convenient, so I'm doing it there. But yeah, I've like wanted to pull out. I've like wanted to kill myself. I'm just like, why do I have to do everything? I got all the press myself, and then the club has a PR person, and they're like, well, let us know if we can do anything. I'm like, well, yeah, can you get me some more press? I've done all this myself. And at a certain point, I'm like, God, like so either this will be the thing that catapults me or it'll be the bow to the end of my career.
No,
So
it won't.
Fucking
No,
done.
It's
no,
going to be a positive, no matter
just,
what.
Just don't let Adam promote it.
No matter what, it's a positive experience. Okay, the fact that you're
No,
doing it.
I'm excited. Like
matter
they're
what.
they're fun stories. I
There's
want
no
to
failing
share
in
them.
this. There's no
Also,
failing
it's like
in this.
like I have these fun stories, and I'm like, I want to like do them and then like put them to rest.
Right.
But they're so great, and they all go together, and like they're evergreen. They're not if you watched it 5 years from now, like I'm very smart about choosing what I'm going to do for that exact reason because I'm like, but it's so we'll see.
You're fine. Irvine's
But I was going to
always
say,
pretty
could
crowded.
I jump if God came down right now and said, "Do you want to jump to like Sunday at 11 p.m. and just and it'll
No,
be
no,
over?"
I think
you don't wanna do
this
that.
one's gonna
I
be.
don't. I want to experience it. Right? I'm
Number-
so stressed about. it.
First of all,
Be in the
you know
moment,
what, though?
Heather.
I'm sure
Yeah.
this isn't the first time you've stressed out over a big show and you went and killed it. Like,
Yeah. Always.
You're-
Number one, it's
you're
a
a pro.
special.
You're gonna
okay.
kill it.
Number
Yeah.
two, the most important thing is that you're funny.
Right.
Okay. Your performance is the most important thing. Everything else, the laughs they can do in post. I hate to say it. Okay.
That's good. That makes me feel good.
I'm serious. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
They
I mean,
could-
they're pretty. Both the shows on Saturdays are pretty full.
You're
right
gonna
now, so
you're
I'm
gonna
okay
kill.
with that.
You're gonna kill. But
Yeah.
okay, I'm just saying that you're doing you have 4 times to get it right, and you're gonna mix
Well,
it.
we're only filming the 2 on Saturday, but
Well,
so Friday is my practice.
So you're gonna mix and match.
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna make sure how many cameras?
I think there's like 6 or something.
6 cameras.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking cameras. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
5
beautiful,
maybe. I don't know.
beautiful layout.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous club, and you're gonna be fine. You're gonna kill it.
This one's
Thank
going to
you.
be, I think, a huge success because you did this one after Jesus has risen. So nothing's
Yeah.
going to stand in your way on
Yeah.
this one. There's going to be
You're
no
gonna-
Easter baskets in
and-
your way.
And no matter what, look,
Right out.
Look, I know people that have like shot a guy like Steve Trevino.
Yeah.
Shot a special.
Yeah.
It didn't do what it should have done as far as numbers. He cut it up into like 5-minute increments.
Right.
He subtitled it. He put them on Facebook and whatever
Yes.
for free. and he's selling out everywhere because of it.
Yeah, that's probably. Are we talking about the same person?
Steve Trevino.
Oh, that's good. I was
So-
talking. Josh Wolf did the same thing.
A lot of it is like ways to.
Right.
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
most
all
people
positive.
are like, most comedians are like, now, like, hey, if you can afford to do it this way, like, if you have the funds, just fucking do it.
Right.
Well, no, now the last couple of years he's been working with me, which has been really great because prior to that, one of the reasons we're doing it this way is because the last special I made not 1 cent off, not one.
Wow.
The only time I made any money is
your
when I
husband-
sold the DVDs, and so then I got my husband involved after
The
that.
good thing is, your husband won't pull out of this. 'Cause
Exactly.
He doesn't pull out of a lot of things.
I
Well,
think
like,
I
that
can't
is
wait
nice.
to see
Someone
it. I
can't
think it's
screw
going to
you,
be
like,
awesome.
money-wise. So
No.
it is nice to have him in
You're gonna be
controlling the
great,
money.
and a lot of people, all those Chelsea lately fans are like, "What's Heather doing? What's Heather doing?"
Yeah.
They listen to your podcast, they support you, they do your Patreon. They're gonna want to see this.
And then when I was coming up with like the tour name or whatever, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it Juicy Scoop because let's just brand the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what's keeping it. So I'm like, that's the name of it. That'll be the name of it. Like
And
I
it's
a
would
good
call
name.
it like
It's a good name,
something
Juicy
else
Scoop.
that's
You
not
You
catchy.
should give out throw rags for that,
Why?
because that's when I have Juicy Scoop. I always. All right, listen, people. I'm just.
Is that what that's called? A juicy scoop?
First of all, I want to talk a little bit
Yes.
about Juicy Scoop because I love the show
Oh, thank
and I
you.
love that you've had some really great. We just had Denise Richards on our
Yes.
last episode, and I know
Yes.
you just had her
Yes,
on.
loved
She's
having her on.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I love what you do with all the Barbies. And I saw that Anna Faris is now also doing the same thing with the Barbies, and you left a comment on her Instagram.
Okay, I'm not gay, so what the fuck are you
Okay,
talking about?
so I had this idea like, over 6 months ago where I was like, oh, it'd be really fun because I recap like housewife shows, just myself, I do all the voices, is if I did them with Barbies. And so
Love it.
when I first did it, I just bought the Barbies at Target and I just made their outfits. And then I had this Juicy Scooper is what I call people who listen to my podcast. She just sent me like a Lisa Rinna, like leopard, like what they call a duster, like a long coat for the Barbie. And I was like, this is amazing. She's like, I make these things. And then I was like, oh my God, like I'll tag you, whatever. Yeah. So then she started to send me all the outfits. And so then I started to recap all the episodes and things. And
So
they
is
were a lot of
is
work.
it all the Housewives shows or just Beverly
So
Hills?
I did New York and Beverly Hills.
And you recap them
Beverly
as the
Hills-
Barbies.
Yeah, Beverly Hills was the best as far as like
That's hilarious.
retweeting and reposting. A couple of the New York people, I'd be like, "What? Really? You're not even gonna like?" But not that that's the only reason. But it, like,
But they don't have the
come
best
on,
sense
it's a
of
lot
humor,
of
some
work.
of these people.
Right.
And I
Luann
there's-
was too busy doing a cabaret. I
no,
think.
actually, Luann was really good about it.
Oh, she posted
loved
it?
Yeah,
Okay,
she
good.
loved it. And Denise was like in love with it because
Did you have the guy in jail? Was,
Aaron,
like, Ken in
I
jail?
had her husband. And what?
Was the guy in jail? The guy from New
Joe.
Jersey?
Joe.
Oh,
Joe?
Joe,
Was
I
that
haven't
Joe?
done that yet, but they're coming up. Anyway, it's so much work though. It's like the first time I've ever really directed something because I was like I was doing a camera from like
Well,
the
you're ready
back
for your
of
special,
one like
obviously.
one Barbie's head talking to another. Like we were doing all these different scenes
Over the shoulder
And-
shots is
Yeah, and it was just my assistant and I were
That's
just doing our
awesome.
best, but it was taking a lot of time and it was starting to make me crazy. So then I started to see people were like throwing up Barbie stuff and everything, and I was like, look, I knew this would happen. Like,
Was your husband like, I quit my job and now I'm playing with Barbies?
exactly.
what have I done?
My husband got me these stands. He's like, I ordered you these stands. I'm like, oh my God. So there's but it so then Anna Faris was posting some photos and this whole Barbie thing, and my people are like, oh my God, Anna's doing, the thing. So I just was like, what do I say? And my son goes, you just write credit ? I guess that's
So
what
she's
I
acting.
guess that's what the kids do.
She's acting out stuff.
She's
with
not
Barbies, or-
acting. She's just taking photos, right?
Photos,
And writing
yeah.
dialogue. So she's not
She's doing
acting.
a lazy version of it.
But, then someone's like, oh, she did it a long time ago, whatever. I was like mad for a second because I'm like, well, of course, people are calling her a genius. She has 2 million followers. I have 178. Like, I can't compete. Like, the story of my
You only have
life.
178,000.
Like, when we were on Chelsea lately, I was day one, once they announced Sarah Palin was the running mate, I did Sarah Palin. I did her all week. People were dying.
I
But
remember
then
that.
Saturday night, it's Tina Fey.
Tina
And
Fey,
now
yeah.
I was like, well, now am I even allowed? And then if I did it, they're like, you're not Tina Fey. I'm like, oh my
Oh,
God. Like,
God.
no one owns an impression. Like, whatever.
You're ahead of your time.
Yes. So it's the story of my life. But I wrote to Anna. I just wrote, I'm so excited that you're watching my Barbie videos. This is amazing. Like, just whatever.
Yeah.
And then she wrote me on DM and she's like, somebody thinks that I'm stealing your material and I'm not. And I'm sorry. Let's do like a collab together.
That's cool.
And I was like, totally great. I don't care. Because the truth is,
Why
like,
wouldn't you do it with her? You
I
get
was
2
like
million
a
of her.
little annoyed that day, and then you just get over shit.
No, do the
You know, you're
collab
like,
with her.
who
But are you
cares?
going to do the collaboration with her?
You know, maybe. I mean, I wrote
No,
it back.
you-
No, she never wrote me.
No, lock her down. No, that's bullshit.
No, I said let's do each other's podcast first of all. You
no,
know, like
no.
Right.
Do the collab Barbie. Take her budget. Put it towards your special.
No, you guys should do the each other's podcast
Yeah,
as Barbie.
yeah.
Can I be Ken?
Yeah.
I'll just come with a Ken doll and just move him around.
Set up
Yeah.
a little studio, a little
No,
I
microphone.
mean-
no. Because she said that let's do a collab to
Yes.
like get you away,
yeah.
but you have to lock her down.
I will.
Be like, what are you doing September 14th? What? Honestly, because that's 2 million of her
Do you need a
fans.
new
I
agent,
know.
Heather?
Did you know you're leaving here with the
No,
business
but
manager?
I hate when fucking celebrities do that. They go, "Oh yeah, we'll do something together."
I know, because
Just-
immediately I'm always like, let's arrange. Tell me, like, hey, give me your assistant's email. Like, let's arrange. Like, we don't have to keep doing this, but like,
yeah,
let's
call them on
make
their
it
bullshit.
happen.
Like,
Yeah.
because she's the one that suggested it.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the but no, I like it. I love the joy it gives to people. It's just kind of like it's exhausting and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so then people are like, do this one, do this one. I'm like, okay, you know.
No.
But I'm going to be doing classic scenes now. So if
Oh.
anyone's listening, I'm on a hunt for first season New Jersey Teresa.
Ooh.
So frizzy hair.
It's hard to
You're doing
find
classic.
curly
I was
hair.
thinking Gone with the Wind.
You're the
and
only
you're
one on
thinking
that hunt, by the
classic.
way, for Teresa.
I was
No,
like-
Teresa flipping
There
a
might be
table.
someone listening that has a tree. I have people sending me old Barbies.
Did you
and
ever
stuff.
watch the Hot Wives of the?
Yes.
That was the funniest show.
They're so funny.
That
was
show.
what was the show? How
They did a spoof. Like some. I like.
But it wouldn't
Back
one of
in the
things-
day,
because
banging this chick
because
and-
I like kind of tapped
Like-
into that like Bravo world. I am sort of one of the reason I'm glad that I'm doing the stand-up special is because I think people are associating me with that too much, and they're not seeing that I am like
that's
a
anytime
traditional
you do good
stand-up.
at
And when I
something.
do stand-up, I don't do all that. Like, and then I'd get these women that'd be like, I want to go, but like I don't know if I can drag my husband to Heather's show, and I'm like. You're the one that's hurting the women's movement here. Like,
Yeah, fucking
don't say you
move.
have to drag the husband. Yeah, I'm like, if the husband got tickets to see Adam Hunter, you'd get a blowout and be excited to go, bitch. Why are you making it like
Yeah.
like a negative thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I go, look, I want to make it really clear. Like I'm not talking Bravo and shit when I do my stand up. So in the act that I'm taping this weekend, it's really like it's characters that I'm doing as I'm telling a story, but it's not impressions. It's not the housewives. Because you can go online and see that anywhere. I'm like,
Right.
this is just a stand up because I'm like, because all that stuff is so much work. And I'm like, wait a minute, Heather, you're a stand up. Like, all you need is a mic and show up by yourself. Like, I was
Yeah.
doing so much to produce the live shows and all these characters and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I could just go do stand up and like look cute and be done with it.
Well, it's also more you. And I have that same mixed martial arts thing. I do work with the UFC, and everyone thinks
Yeah.
I'm going to do still, UFC jokes the whole time. I'm like,
Right.
I have nothing on my stage at the UFC. You could
Right.
That's I have a separate thing, so I understand what you're saying. The Hot Wives of Atlanta. It
Hot
was
Wives
it
of
was called.
Atlanta.
It was
Casey Wilson.
it was these girls. I ended
Yeah.
up like back in the day sleeping with this porn star who got really mad at me because I got like both names wrong. Like I swear on my life. And then it was one of those things like afterwards I'm like you're clean, right? And she's like you're gonna ask me now, but she was, but like the time isn't to ask someone after you have sex.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but she did turn me on to this Hot Wives show. That was amazing. It was like this sketch show where they made fun of all the girls.
It was a
kinda-
sketch show. Okay, I
they
thought it was a
created their
reality
own.
show.
They just sort of created their own like city, but sort of parroting all the types.
Yeah,
of
and like the
things.
guy
It
from
was-
Key and Peele, and like all these great sketch people were in it.
I feel
and
like they were ahead of their time.
it was so funny. I was
have to look that
I was
up.
crying
Yeah.
laughing, and you can't see it. It's like on Hulu or something.
Yes.
Like, and the thing was, I actually like put on Twitter like, "Hey, this is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time," and then all the girls were like, "Thank you, God bless your heart." Like they were all like, so I was like, which made me even bigger.
But don't you
fan.
think though? Because it was I think it was a while ago. Now everyone's onto it and making fun, and there's like podcasts, and it's such a bigger thing. There's BravoCon, but I think when they started that show,
I think it
they
got
were
ba-
like a little too ahead
think
of
it
their time.
got
Or, like,
buried.
did you ever watch like The Comeback with Lisa Kudrow?
Yeah.
Like that show, the first time it came was like I was like, oh my God, it was so genius. They had these funny parts where like they're driving and they're supposed to have like a reality show about themselves. Lisa Kudrow is like this kind of like a Tori and Dean thing. And, she's making the husband do it. And they're like going to Palm Springs and they're talking. They're like, he's like, this car is nice as they're driving. And then this guy emerges out from the back seat. He's like, can you say the Ford, da-da-da-da, the whole thing. And he like, where's it? Like, it was so clever. But it was one of those things that I think people are like,
Ahead
what
of its
is
time.
this?
I think
yeah.
I think there are a lot of shows. I think what happened with the Housewives of Atlanta
Yeah.
was that it got so buried on Hulu that people just didn't know where to look for it.
Yeah.
And I think
And also
this-
Hulu 5 years ago, whenever it came out, wasn't
I
Hulu
think there I
today.
think there are a lot of really
Yeah.
good shows out there that are on like Epix or Cinemax that like you just don't know where to even look for them.
Well, there's so
Or
many shows
Crackle
out there
or,
in
like,
general now. It's like, how do you even keep up?
Yeah.
It's the same with music. I'm like, when I go see a band now, like I went to see all these bands. They're like, oh, we're coming out with a new album, and I'm like, but where would I? Unless I like that particular band, it used to be like the radio. Yeah, K Rock would have classics, and VH1 would have hits, and then this one would have alternative. Now it's like all it is Miley Cyrus and Ariana Grande.
Who I love, by the
on
way.
every
Yes.
it's the
I
same
have-
6 songs, and then Sirius Radio. You don't know where it's
Don't
like.
fuck with my freedom.
Right. She's like her mother's daughter. I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard her scream it. But I have
Yeah.
a really more important pressing question
Yes.
for you about the Jenner Christmas party.
Yes.
Did you go this year, the Winter
no,
Wonderland?
I got the boot.
You got the
Why
boot?
did you get the
It
boot?
was a bloodbath.
Were you stealing
There was
stuff
a lot
when
of
you were
us
at the
that
house?
got
Are
the
you still
boot.
close with the Kardashians?
I mean, I still will talk to Chris and stuff.
Who I love. She had you on her show. The Chris
Yes,
Jenner
I've been
show.
on the shows
Right.
for a while, but I used to see them a lot more because I was working on Chelsea. They would all be on like at least a few times a year. We'd see each other, be invited to things and all. And for so many years, it was all the same people. Like they like A-listers didn't want to go to their party. They weren't like making friends. It was more like, oh, it's the same people all the time. They're really keeping to the, to what they are. But then as the girls got older and got married, and every year that we were invited, I would tell my kids, like, enjoy it. It could be the last year. That's how I live my life. Like every time, like I'm tired to go on the road, I'm like, Heather, you dumb bitch. It's not like the last time that you're able to fill this place.
I always
Get
feel
a
like
club.
every gig is my last gig at that club.
Because you want it to be, or
no,
like
both.
yeah.
Well, no, I just always feel like I'm like one joke away from getting fired from every single gig I've ever had. It's
Yeah,
just-
I think artists suffer from that in general because
Yes.
I've been an actor for 32 years, and every gig I think is my last. Now I'm starting to do stand up where I'm thinking every gig is my last. I just think that follows
Yeah.
artists whatever you do.
But
Stand up,
with
acting.
this,
Yeah, I
with
need
the
to know about
party,
the party,
with the party.
please.
So with the party, what was great about the party is when I first got invited, she's like, "Come to our Christmas Eve party." I'm like, "Who has a party on Christmas Eve?" Like it just didn't seem like you go to church, you're with your girlfriend, you have a party on like December 16th. Like who has a party? And then this other, I'm like, I can't go to that. Like when I first met her before the show and everything. And my friend goes, "No, you got to go." She has like elves take care of the kids. It's amazing. So then I was like, "All right," because she was like, "No, you invite the whole family." And I'm like, "Oh, can I even invite my mother?" I'm like, "Yes, of course." So for like 10 years, I was 1 + 5. So
Wow.
I'm rolling in 60. If I could have gone to them and been like, "I don't care about these kids," like keep inviting me, I would. But I think when then you see there was actually an episode about it where then Kim takes over the party and she's like, I'm going to take over the party, so it's not going to be all your friends. And I really haven't talked to Kim in a few years. So I was like bummed, and the only thing that made me crazy is that Kathy Griffin was there.
I know.
Why do you not like her?
No, I do like her, but I was like, I had to do Chelsea lately, and every week there was a topic about the Kardashians, and I was able to write funny jokes or myself and never say a mean thing. I could still do it without being cruel. And Kathy Griffin ripped on them for 10 specials. And then
Right.
all of a sudden was friends with them and I love my KKW eyeliner, and I just kind of was like, really? It just pissed me off. Now she's one person.
Did any guests ever get mad at you from Chelsea for making fun of them?
No, we got away with everything.
Did you ever do a Tori and Dean?
We would talk
enactment?
about you
Oh,
guys, but
that
I
I
don't.
know.
But I don't think we ever
I know that.
did a sketch about it.
Why did Tori get mad at Chelsea?
Because I would have
for-
been Tori, and I know I
No.
never did Tori.
No,
yeah.
it's funny. And I think I tweeted or Instagram Chelsea. I told her many years ago. I said,
Yeah.
I got nothing against you. I think you're very funny, and
Yeah.
in fact, I'm a fan. But she would take the piss out of Tori and I all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
all
not
the
the
time.
yogurt, unfortunately.
Did you get mad or no? Or did you just kind of roll your eyes?
The only
What are you
person
gonna
that
do?
got really mad at us was Anna Nicole's baby daddy.
Oh,
Like he like wrote and wanted like was like, can I come on and retweet? We're like, no. Like we did a topic and we were just like, I mean, it's amazing how much the world has changed since our show was on 5 years ago. The stuff that we would do that we never hear boo from, like it was kind of crazy. And now it's like, my God, you say one thing, do one thing, like everybody's on it. And I don't know if because social media was in a different place 5 years ago, which it certainly was, even though Instagram and everything existed, it just isn't where it is
This wasn't
today.
as big as it
So
is.
we got away with
Dean,
it.
have you noticed that since Tori has a hit show now, people are coming back into your lives that was like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
ghosted you guys recently?
That's juicy.
Not yet. Not yet.
It'll happen.
Yeah,
TBD.
Yeah, we got our eyes on the horizon to see who's gonna. pop
Really,
back
I
over.
like feel like you're very gullible. You'll be like, "Oh, wow, that's very nice, this person."
Yeah.
All
Why
of
did
a
they send me an
sudden-
edible arrangement? How thoughtful.
I'm gullible. I'm hopeful. I'm not gullible.
Yeah, but you guys are pretty forgiving, right? You guys, I mean, you guys don't hold grudges.
Oh, I do. I'm a Scorpio, man. I hold grudges. I'll plan your death. Yeah, it just
comforting.
running through my head is like, yeah, okay, this is how I'm gonna take you out.
How many deaths have you planned?
Oh, there's too many to count.
Yeah.
It happens daily. You cut me off on the road, and I'm like,
Right.
Well, that's
Well,
something.
good to know.
That's something you have to be careful
Noted.
of.
I know.
You know what I mean? You know, but it's true. Like I was saying to my husband, we live in Woodland Hills. You can.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
in Woodland
Okay,
Hills.
so
we're neighbors.
it's a very nice area, but it's not gated. Okay, so my husband has issues with the fact that people post the stuff on the telephone poles, like the signs and things.
What do they post?
You know, like whatever
Garage
garage
sale,
sale
yeah.
and things
Missing
like that.
cat or
Yeah, the missing cat. And I was like, Peter, I go, you know, what if someone sees you like taking down those signs? You're gonna look like
He
grumpy
takes
old.
down the signs.
Yeah, he tears them down.
Oh, come on.
Well, if his thing is, if this cat was lost 2 months ago, it's dead.
Oh,
There's no way we're in
it's
coyote country.
coyote poop.
It's
It's
Chinese
coyote
food.
country, and
Come on.
you're not supposed to do. Okay, so that's what I thought.
I'd be
I go,
pretty pissed if someone took down my missing cat sign.
after 2 months.
Yes.
Well,
You-
sorry.
You gotta believe.
You're not supposed to post on.
You're
the
not
telephone
supposed to
book.
post.
Like, it's a
So
bylaw.
Whatever.
so I wanted to get ahead of it just in case
I didn't make
somebody
the law.
like filmed him
Well, you don't post
taking down a sign and then being like, Heather's husband is like a grumpy old asshole. So and then I got a great response of people being like, you know what? I agree with him, and you're right. And I mean, it won't take it down if it's like
He is
that
older, though,
day.
right? Isn't he
but
older?
if it's the garage, he's just 5 years older than him. But like
Is he
the
70?
garage, the garage. No, he won't take it down unless the garage thing has passed, and unless it's been several weeks with the little dog or the little cat, because
Right.
you've seen the coyotes, and the
They're
coyotes are
horrible.
By the way,
flourishing.
you look great. I
Have
think
you?
they're-
When you see the coyotes, they're like shiny. They're full.
Oh,
They're
because
living life.
they've eaten all our chickens. They
We
ate
are-
12
our
of our
chick-
chickens.
We have chickens, and they ate our chicken. We didn't have 12. We had twice. We
kept replacing them.
Didn't you have a
So
pig,
we
had,
too?
we had
What happened to your pig?
2 times where they ate a bunch.
The pig Hank went to Patrick Dempsey's farm.
Oh, God bless.
Because he
Thank
was,
God. I was worried.
we got him, and it was a micro pig. he grew to 250 pounds,
Yeah.
and we had a connection
Not
with
you.
Patrick.
Were people on Instagram like fat shaming him?
No,
So
they
how
get-
many chickens do you have now?
None.
Oh, okay.
We are sans chickens.
By the way, you look great. I think the reason you look great, Heather, honestly,
Thank
because
you.
you're mid-30s.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think the reason is because you were a virgin for a long time. You didn't do cocaine. I don't even.
Founded in my 20s.
You
yeah.
probably smoked weed. That's probably it, though, right?
No, I've never smoked weed. I tried in college, and everyone told me I was doing it wrong, and it was just too stressful. I didn't have like the
How do you
hand-eye
smoke
coordinate.
weed wrong?
Sex
Like I
or weed?
couldn't like hold it, and then you're supposed to light
as
the
a
thing.
pipe? Okay.
Yeah, like I couldn't like do it, and then I just was like, "Fuck, okay, if I'm not athletic enough to do this drug, like I'm not good at shit like that." So I just didn't try it anymore.
So you'd be a horrible heroin addict.
I
You got
mean,
the
look,
spoon.
You've never done weed.
I don't own a gun because I don't ever want to own a gun. I can't imagine that I'd be able to work that in
Just
the
stick
moment
with
that
the
I would need
Barbies.
it.
Stick
Yes.
with the Barbies.
Wow, I can't believe you never smoked pot in your life.
I've tried
She
it.
tried.
I tried it those couple times, but I never got like a high. The only time was I had the brownies about like 8 years ago.
You got to try Gino from Speedweed because his stuff is amazing. By the way, plug.
I'm scared that so I had the brownies and it was such a long, awful, weird, anxiety
Yeah.
like ridden. I'm like, and then I know people are like, really, you don't want to try this like little gummy, or I got you this tea for your birthday, and I'm like, look, I'm glad it's legal. Let's make some money. It's fine, but for me, it's just I don't want to. It's too unknown. Like
no
I
Molly
know
or
the
ecstasy
buzz.
or
I know the buzz I'll get from 2 margaritas. I know the buzz I'll get from a whole bottle of wine.
Right.
Like I just don't want to have something where I don't know.
But you're still very fit. You work out.
Yes,
How often
I
do you work out?
I work out like 3 to 4 days a week,
Wow.
but not
And like,
super intensely, just consistently.
What's your workout? Are you CrossFit? Are you
No,
aerobics,
I just have a
or
friend
cycling?
from school that I met who is a trainer, and she comes to my house after drop off, and I'm like, I don't like cardio. I'll do 30 minutes. If you've
hate it.
got Juicy Scoop from like some other mom, I'll do an hour. But like, if you have nothing to bring to the table,
What do you mean if you have Juicy Scoop?
like if you can keep me interested in doing these lunges longer with a good story,
She's
then
focused.
I'll stay
Right.
longer. But if not, I don't
You're
want
out.
That's
to.
a lot of pressure for trainers to have to come up with gossip.
But she's great. She's great. She's delivered, and now she helps me with all this too. She helps like book the show and stuff. So I know because she is funny.
How
and
does
great.
Tori stay so skinny and voluptuous?
Genetics. Like as soon as she had the babies, like 4 weeks later, she looked normal again. Like she just has that ability to
She didn't
just
take your boxing class?
drop weight. No, she didn't work out. She hasn't worked out since I met her. 15 years.
Really?
Did
Yeah.
she do a 23andMe and find out she had like peasant blood? Like she could
It's
drop
funny.
babies in a field.
We both got a 23andMe kit, and I sent them in at the same time. Mine came back. Hers never did.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're like, we don't want to tell Tori she's
Is
a
that
peasant.
because you guys
We can't tell
owe so
Tori's
much?
spellings.
Is that
No.
because- Was-
No,
yeah,
it
wasn't
just-
the
it just
IRS
never-
took that too?
It just
or-
never came back. Yeah, the IRS took it. They're cloning Tori Spelling.
They're like, you know what? We can't get the money, but we'll take her results back. By the way,
That's funny.
have you got any blowback from that newscaster that you called? Said I love the story that came out last
Rosanna
week.
Scott.
Oh yeah, what was it that they said? Oh, you can't pay your bills, and then
Yeah,
Tori
she
got
asked Tori
annoyed.
if she asked Tori if she could pay her bills. She was promoting 90210
Right.
on a Fox show,
Yes.
and Scotto took this line of questioning of finances,
Yeah.
which I thought was inappropriate. And
So
it was funny. It was your line they quoted.
No, you
right?
said
You said
that-
"fucking move on."
No, I said fucking mom, but you said because it said not safe for work, and I go, what the hell did we say? And you said that yeah, she needs a good thumb up her ass.
Yeah, that was
say
in
that.
People magazine. Yeah, it says in Dean.
I forgot I said that.
Yeah. So Rosanna, we hope you're sitting on a firm thumb right now if you're
Oops.
listening to us.
I wonder
Oops.
if like she probably looks at that and goes, I need a thumb up. I would love to see her face when like.
I'm surprised.
But I mean,
I'm surprised I haven't heard from Fox.
But that's what I loved about the 90210 show is that I'm like, she's laughing at herself. Like there's the sign where they cancel the reality show and they're like, you've run out of storylines. And she's
Spelling
like,
the
what?
beans.
Yeah, yeah. And then she has a husband and she's like, you got an offer? I don't love it. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder, does Dean not, like, I think that's great that you guys can all kind of like laugh at it and see the humor in it and take like the tabloid part and all of that. You know, to make it,
you have to laugh at it because
Yeah.
I took the route of like threatening and I was going to kill everybody.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, that's just that. It's
Yeah.
just roll with it.
what made you change really quick? I know, I need to show.
Just I don't know,
So-
old age.
Celexa.
I don't know. Yeah.
What?
Xanax.
Xanax. Wellbutrin.
I still
My
can't believe
antidepressants.
because the antidepressants you take lower your sex drive, and you're having sex like 8 times a week.
Dude, I told you I'm a Scorpio. I'm a
How often?
machine.
Because me and my wife once, twice a week. 3 times. What about you?
Nothing. Like, no, we're not doing it that often. Like normal.
It-
And we've been
Gino
together
should hook
really
her up
long,
with some,
so it's
Gino
like-
should hook you up with some of the
THC
lube.
lube.
Well, because
sex lube.
Denise Richards
Oh.
said that she bangs her husband every day.
I would hope so. That's like they're brand new. Like,
True.
but I also think there's just everybody has their own thing. Sometimes there's someone that's like way more. The partner's way more like horny and sexual, and your relationship will always be that person being the initiator. Like, and then there's other people where it's very compatible, and everybody's just kind of like, okay. And sometimes you want it, and sometimes you turn each other down, but it doesn't mean anything. And then there's other times where you've been together so long
You turn each other
that
down.
nobody cares.
When do you turn each other down?
When you're just like so fucking tired, and you're just like, I'll get you in the morning. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah,
I'll
Like,
get you
you're
tomorrow.
just
Hit me
fine.
up
Like,
in
it
the
doesn't mean
morning.
anything. You're just like,
And you're writing romance books?
no, I'm not writing romance.
You should.
Where did you get that?
Listen to the Blue Ball book? Or?
No, it's just a life
not a
story.
romance.
Yeah.
Not a romance, just a tale.
I'll get you in the morning. Wow, that's the cover of your next book.
I do think though it's a problem if you let it go too long without
Absolutely.
doing it.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. Then
You
it gets
gotta-
weird.
You gotta, especially when you have kids, you gotta prioritize your relationship
Then it's
because
like
you
when
will
you-
never
yeah.
find time for each other.
Yeah, I
if you
agree.
have
And then
kids.
it's like you going to the gym and you haven't gone a long time and you're like worried that someone's gonna like correct you on how to use the machine. You know? So like I think you gotta like don't let it go too long without doing it.
Do you
without
use
having
that
sex.
leg spreader machine at the gym?
I never
you
go to the
don't?
gym
No,
anymore
you don't.
now.
Yeah, you see people giving her
Because I felt like that's what always made it like where I didn't like I'd join a gym and then you'd have to find the parking and you have to get in the outfit and like then it would be like this 2-hour thing and I was like I think I'll work out if it's just like right when you come to like I literally roll out
it's
of bed
so much easier when
roll out of
you
bed
have
and
a
like
trainer
do
come to
it
your
and then
house.
it's over with.
Is that your
I
barter
love what
system
you
now?
wait. I love what you said about the outfit because I do that. I
Yeah.
change like 3 or 4 times before I go to the gym. There's
Really?
different
Too much
tank tops,
work.
different shorts, different shoes. Yeah, I change
And then all of a
multiple
sudden you're
times.
like, well now it's
It's a sweaty fashion show.
yeah,
That's how I look
now
at
I
it.
don't have time. Now I've
It's
got-
like Juicy Scoop, like your whole barter system. Like you go for gas, and like you're like, I'll take your gas. You have to give me a scoop.
give me a scoop. So give me something to talk about on the show.
everything.
Everywhere
I need
you go.
juicy, yes, I always ask. Like, do you have any juicy scoop? Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So your special you're taping now. Any idea when it might hit?
Who knows?
Who
Who
knows?
knows? Hopefully, but I mean, like I said, if it doesn't get bought, then I will be sharing it. So just follow me at heathermcdonald.net.
It
I
will.
do lots of live shows all over. I've got Tempe coming up. I've got Thousand Oaks. If you want to come to that, well, you guys should come
the
to that.
Performing Arts Center.
Yes,
Oh,
in
awesome.
October 16th and 17th.
Would love to
But
come to that.
Atlanta. Yeah, got lots of Chicago. A bunch to coming up to the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay, well let's make
We'll
sure
go
we
in
exchange
October.
numbers. We'd love to.
Yeah,
And we're
absolutely.
neighbors. We're
I know.
in Woodland Hills. We should hang out.
I know. I love it.
I'd love to meet your husband and your kids.
Cool.
He'll show you the THC lube.
Yeah, I'll try
Yeah, I'll
it.
hook you up.
Turn the try.
Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm coming in October. Let's go. We'll go see her.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes,
for
you
sure.
guys will all come. I'll
Daddy
hook you
Issues will
up.
be there.
Yeah.
Heather, thank you so
Cool,
much for
thank
joining
you.
us. Is
This
there
was so
anything else you
fun.
want to plug? This is airing on Monday.
Just Beverly Hills 90210, baby.
That's
Watch
right.
Love
it. No,
Love
Juicy
it.
Scoop. Of course, check out my podcast. I have lots of great comedians and directors and writers and reality stars, and I talk about whatever's going on juicy in the world. So it's funny, but it's also not always like jokey.
Awesome. We'll check it out. Heather, thank you so much. You're a
Thank you,
doll.
Heather.
Thank you, Heather.
Everybody have a great Monday.